Hi, today we are having another episode, that is the episode number 3 of how to stay young, healthy and fit forever. We have already talked about the habits, then attitudes, which has to change so that we can become healthy. From our earlier self, we can become better. But today we'll be talking about the sleep, the nutrition. They are the foundation of good health. Before doing any physical activities or workouts, the workouts will come in the later episode. In this episode, we'll be talking about sleep and nutrition. So myself, Dr. Dhakeshwar Singh Potsangam, I'm working as an associate professor of ENT in the Jawaharlal Nehru Institute of Medical Sciences in Imphal. And here is my email ID. You can always get back to me. So, sleep. How much hour do we need to sleep? This is from the source of National Sleep Foundation. Here we have been given that any adult has to sleep from 7 to 9 hours. Okay, this is the recommended time, and below that age group the sleep should be more. But ideally, if I am talking about an adult, it should be from 7 to 8 or even 9 hours. It should not be less than that. So ideal sleep time. So we have been thinking about the ideal sleep time. So if you have to sleep, if you start sleeping at 9:30 in the evening, in the night, then you have to wake up around 5 or 5:30 to 6. This is the ideal time of sleep, because our sleep is like recharging ourselves. So there is a certain particular time which is very much important to our health, and for that the sleep time we have to be fixed to 7 or 8 hours, especially at this time. From 9 to 5 would have been much better. So most of us have to do work by day and sleep by night. That has been happening since long time back. Since the time when human being came into existence in this world, people used to work in the daytime and sleep by night time. But after the invention of Thomas Edison, the light bulb, people started working at night time, and that has created a lot of problems for us, especially the lack of sleep leading to all the lifestyle diseases like diabetes, hypertension, myocardial problems. Then we have the depression, anxiety, then psychological problems, then loss of memory, Alzheimer's disease, and even cancer nowadays has been taken as a lifestyle disease. So sleep is very important. Sleep has been much neglected by many people. Whenever we find some work to be done, we always remove the time from sleep. And I, on my part, want to stress that this is not to be done. Say, for example, watching TV late at night, going for a night party, then say night theaters, or reading at night, or even working late at night. So in my earlier episodes, I have already been telling you that at one time when I was an undergraduate in medical studies, I used to sleep sometimes 3 hours a night, only 3 hours a night. Then used to read all the time. In my opinion, as a teenager when I was doing my MBBS, I thought that reading much more will be giving benefit to my knowledge earning, and so naturally I was reading quite a lot. But it is not good for health, because without proper health, if I am no longer there, then what is the use of my studies? What is the use of my educational qualifications and all my degrees and diplomas. There's no use. So first, and as a doctor also, we need to be healthy. And now, let us forget about a doctor. Everyone, for that matter, needs to be healthy, be a good person, and who can take care of himself, his own family, his own work, and his own activities. So sleep is the root cause of lifestyle diseases. Now, lifestyle diseases like diabetes, hypertension, and cardiac problems, and obesity, and Alzheimer's, and many other like depression, anxieties, and even cancer nowadays. So let us see the heart disease, then diabetes, then hypertension, depression, anxiety, Alzheimer's disease, cancer, and acidity. Now, in my experience as an ENT surgeon, if I am seeing about 20 patients, around half of that, or even a little less than half of them, will be coming with acid problems, with throat problems usually. They don't know that it's an acid problem, but they come to me with the throat problems and thinking that it's a tonsil, and most of the time it's being diagnosed as tonsillitis or pharyngitis by some other doctor. So they approach me to do some surgery or any cure as immediately as possible. But as such, acidity, if somebody is not sleeping well, then acidity has to be there. So naturally, we should sleep properly. The mechanics of sleep. Let us look at the mechanics of sleep. Now we have a sleep cycle. And you can see a sleep cycle comprises of 4 stages. The first stage is a light sleep. Light sleep, that's stage 1. That comes to stage 2, which is more static sleep, more stable sort of sleep. And next will be a deeper sleep. There's still a superficial sleep, a deep sleep, which don't have any dreams, deep sleep. And in the deep sleep phase, in the body, there's some growth hormones will be released, and many hormones will be released by this time. It's quite good for the body, to recharge itself. Then next comes the REM sleep, this rapid eye movement sleep, where you can see dreams, So this cycle of sleep is about 1.5 hours. So in an 8-hour sleep by a person, normally, this is the cycle which a person goes through. First, after sleeping from the superficial sleep, it comes to a very deep sleep. Then it comes to REM sleep, almost waking up with certain dreams. Then it goes down again to the deep sleep, then comes back. So here you can see the stage 3 to stage 4 sleep is in the early part of the sleep. So suppose if you have started sleep by around 9 p.m. So by the time it reaches about 10, 11, 12, to 1, to 2. So this is the time. For example, you have started sleeping at around 10 up to 3 a.m. in the morning. So this is the time when you have very deep sleep, which is very good for your health, which releases all the hormones, which is good for your body, which is going to rejuvenate your body. So later on, when in the later part of your sleep, you'll have dreams, and then you wake up. So this is the typical 8-hour sleep a person gets into. So all these cycles are here. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, around about 4 or 5 cycles in a night a person will have. So this is the sleep cycle. Okay. So this is the mechanics of sleep. Now the preparation for sleep. We should always prepare for sleep. Everybody used to neglect sleep as it is. They think that it comes very naturally. But sometimes sleep doesn't come naturally. To some people, sleep is a very, big problem for them. Sleep never comes. So they are worried when my sleep will come. So sleep as such, some people who are not sleeping well, they are even, very much afraid that the night will come. Then they will keep awake at night and, start thinking all bad things in life. So naturally, sleeping is very important, but we need to prepare for sleep. Okay? So put up all the lights. Avoid noisy appliances and keep bedroom silent. And as such, bedroom is a place where it is not for quarreling between a husband and wife or amongst the family members, bedroom is specially booked for sleep only. So we should not, in my opinion, we should not keep anything, even noisy applications, even TVs in the bedroom or any music systems. So that should be kept in a sitting room where you can just watch and watch TV and enjoy music like that. But in this bedroom is supposed to be only for sleep. Okay, then avoid watching TV, mobile phones just before sleep, because we have got two different types of receptors of light in our eye. One is for dark vision, another for light vision. And if you stimulate the receptor for a bright vision, it may not bring sleep to yourself. So naturally, if it is dark and the light is dimmed, then naturally sleep will come. But if it is too bright a light, it won't come. So naturally, we should not watch TV and mobile phones at night just before going to sleep. So sleep minimum 3 hours after exercise, if at all you have to do exercise at night. But especially night is not the time ideally for exercise. Do not take heavy meals at night, and usually a light meal is better for a proper sleep, and that you will get a very good sleep if you are not having a heavy meal. At the same time, people having reflux, that is regurgitation of the acid from the stomach, will happen in those persons who are having heavy meals at night and who lie down immediately after sleep. So best thing is the immediately after food. So lying down immediately after food is not good for people with the reflux. So at least 3 hours should be waited before you go to bed. Then open all windows at night and let in fresh air, because we are breathing air, and our fresh air is very important for our living, for health and everything, all activities, metabolism. So naturally, as fish in water, human beings have to inhale proper air. So we should keep door and windows open, and no potted plants unless they produce oxygen at night. There are some particular plants which can be kept in the room, inside the room, which will release oxygen. Otherwise, inside a bedroom, no potted plants should be kept. And no alarm clock for waking up. Especially in the morning, we usually keep alarm clock for a time so that we can wake up. But it should not be within this time from 8 or 9 hours which you are going to sleep. So naturally, especially for any adult, 7 hours is the optimum, 7 to 8 hours. So during that time, there should not be any alarm clock so that it will disturb your sleep. So melatonin. There's certain hormone in the limbic system, this melatonin. It has got many positive effects, like a very important hormone, especially inducing sleep, and they prevent cancer and memory loss. So during sleep, this melatonin is secreted in the body when there is darkness, and especially in the night time. And the release of melatonin has got a timing, like it is called a circadian rhythm, that whenever at night time it is released from our limbic system. So this is what people will find when you go to a different place, and you call it a jet lag and a time of night sleep and all a bit deranged, and because of change in the time and the time of that place, particular place, local time, when you go to a different place. Okay, that is, we call it as time zone. So the sleep is very important, and melatonin will prevent cancer, memory loss, and produce good sleep, and it removes stress. It's also good for removing stress. Okay, so then too much sleep. More than 9 hours a night for adults is too much sleep, and it will give depression, then mental confusion, then motor sluggishness, and obesity. So too much of sleep is not good. Endorphins are produced during exercise and helps in getting sound sleep and elevate our mood. Then endorphins relieve anxiety and depression from mild to moderate. So especially for some people who are having mild to moderate depression, it's better not to take medication from any psychiatrist. And even psychiatrists are bound to advise the patient to do mild to moderate exercise, moderate to heavy exercise, so that they can have endorphins being released from our own body, so that it will it will relieve the anxiety and depression that we are having. So endorphins give a sense of well-being. Okay, they are just like the morphines that we know that are being taken by some misled youths to give some sort of happiness and that sort of kick that they want to have, but they are not very good. Now we will come to nutrition. Nutrition, what is nutrition? It is a nourishment or energy that is obtained from food consumed, or the process of consuming the proper amount of nourishment and energy. So there is a difference between food and nutrition. Food can be anything, but nutrition is the one which will nourish our body. So these nutrition are having nutrients, and they are dealing with the nutrients, a study of nutrients and all these things. So it is related with the nourishment. Okay. So, see, these are the food that you are seeing in the background. They are nutrients. So, nutrients. What are nutrients? There are 6 types of nutrients. One is this one I am showing is a carbohydrates. These are giving energy to our health, to our work. So they are mainly the cereals and like breads and any others, like say pastas, noodles, and all this, and even bananas and some fruits, sweet, tasting fruits. Most of them are giving us the sugar that we need in our body to for the organs to function. The glucose, they give glucose. So these are the carbohydrates. Next are the proteins. Proteins are like the white of the egg, then the meat, then the milk and the milk products, then pulses, beans, and fish, and all these things are giving us proteins. So proteins are very important for our nourishment also of our body. This I will come later on. Next are the fats, oils and fats. Here we are showing cheese, butters, and this then oils. So these are also good for our health. These are also part of the nutrients. They also have the vitamins which are fat soluble. They are present in that. Then we have vitamins. Vitamins like A, B, different types of vitamins here in B, and C, D, E, K, and many other vitamins nowadays, and many other nutrients are coming which are being discovered nowadays. So these are the vitamins. Then we have minerals. We have different types of minerals starting from sodium, potassium, the phosphates, then magnesium, calcium, iron, copper, and many other, manganese. So all these, these are the, we also call them as micronutrients. So the vitamins and the minerals are micronutrients, and the other are the macronutrients, we call them. They are required in big amounts. So proteins. So this picture we are showing proteins. So what are proteins? We need about 1 gram of protein per kg body weight. What you are seeing in front of yourself, this is me. Whatever I am to show it to you, they are all made of protein. For example, in a person's skin, then muscles, then the bones, then cartilage, then hairs, nails, and all these things. Whatever you are seeing in front of me, they are all made up of proteins. So you can find here the protein sources. So like meat, then fish, then dairy products, then egg, okay, then pulses, beans, and all these things. They are all rich in protein. And we need about 1 gram of protein per kg body weight. So for example, someone having a body weight of about 60 kgs will be needing minimum 60 gram per day. So all the 60 gram you will not get in every source of protein. Every source of protein has got about 15 to 20% assimilable protein. Assimilable means that can be taken up in our body. It may be having much more percentage of protein, but we won't be able to absorb it in our body. So whatever assimilation that can be taken from these sources is from 15 to 20. So most of the vegetable sources, they are having less assimilable protein, but those plant sources and all. Then about the animal proteins, they are much more assimilable, about 20% and more are assimilable. So milk and egg white are the best protein source available in the world. Then we have animal source which are much better than what we see in the mirror ourselves. They are made up of proteins only. This we need to know. And the proteins are meant for body building, then immunity, strength, and functional enzymes and hormones. They are all made of proteins. So whatever hormones, enzymes in our body, they are made up of proteins only. So carbohydrates. So these are the carbohydrates that right now displayed in front, including this cereals and cakes, breads, pastas, noodles, and biscuits. Then we have the fruits. All these things are, are sources of carbohydrates. So what the carbohydrates are important for? They are fuel for our body. Every activities that we do, they are mainly produced by the blood sugar, or we call it as a glucose. And this is the fuel of the body, just like fuel for a vehicle or a car, petrol for a car. So this fuel, we need this in our body. The complex natural carbohydrates are the best. For example, in the whole cereals, they are much better. Then avoid the processed foods. So best thing is to avoid the processed foods, whatever is available in the market. And sugar to be avoided, and salted snacks to be avoided. Okay? Now, we have got something called a food pyramid. Now, let us look at the food pyramid. This is a food pyramid. Here, we are showing, the pyramid. The pyramid is available in Gaza, in Egypt. The tip is the narrowest part, and the base is very broad. So, here, I would like to say, in our, nutrients, the most important nutrient is water. That should be about 2 to 3 liter per day that we need. That should be at the base of the pyramid. After that, we need vegetable and fruits. So vegetables, fruits like salads and all, we have to take in the highest quantity. Then the carbohydrates like cereals, bread, pastas, all this to be taken. Rice, they are taken in the next, higher, lesser amount. Then comes the dairy products like egg, yogurt, cheese, like that. Then comes the meat and poultry, fish, eggs, and the beans and nuts. They are to be taken specially. These are the protein, beans, nuts, fish, eggs, poultry, and especially for the vegetarian, there is the beans and the nuts are to be taken. Then the fats are butter, oil, and all those things, ghees. They are also to be taken, but in a lesser amount. But above this, especially the foods and the drinks are high in fat, sugar, and salt. Especially this potato wafers and many other foods that it is being shown here. They are to be best avoided. Maximum once or twice a week you can take is best avoided. So this is the food pyramid. If we take in the way the pyramid is being shown here, we'll have a healthy body, and this is what we are supposed to eat. There is something called a reverse pyramid. Nowadays, what do? We eat something which we like. Say, for example, that's why we have a reverse pyramid. Our body should have, a V-shaped body. a V-shape, a V-shape body. But if there is a bulge in middle bulge we call it, in case of the apple or pear-shaped body, especially apples are in the male and the pear-shaped are in case of the women. So this is because of the hectic lifestyle, fast foods, packaged foods, alcohol, refrigerated foods, foods rich in fats, sugar and salts, and lack of exercise. So these are the culprit for giving us a middle bulge. So we should avoid this food. The food becomes toxic if warmed again and again in microwave and packed in plastic containers. So most of the in the supermarket you're getting a lot of prepared, earlier prepared foods, pre-packaged foods, which are to be warmed and taken, and they are always contained most of the time in the plastic containers. So when you warm in a microwave, they release toxic materials, and they are also very bad for health. And barbecued and burned meats are very carcinogenic, so it is best avoided. So we should try to look at a balanced diet. But why we have a reverse pyramid and middle bulge is because we don't use any balanced diet. We don't eat balanced diet. That is why. So we are what we eat. So whatever we are seeing ourselves in the mirror is what we have been eating. So we are what we eat. So we should be careful about what we eat. And we should always eat in moderation. And small frequent feeds is the best way to take food. Fresh fruits, juices, and any foods that can be prepared fresh should be taken, and no packaged food and processed food. Always say no to processed and packaged foods. And overeating and refrigerated foods to be avoided. So when you are eating, overeating is always bad, and refrigerated items should be avoided. And the foundation of good health is nothing but what you take, how you sleep, and how you take, and what is your habit. These are the foundation of good health. So water, you have to take 2 to 3 liters per day, and ideally 3 to 4 glasses of lukewarm water. Have a lemon juice, squeeze into that. This is what I usually, whenever I started, my aim of starting this talk is to tell you what I have been doing. I am not telling you something which I don't do. So every morning I drink about 4 glasses of warm water with half a lemon squeeze into that. Breakfast. So let us see what is good for breakfast. The ideal breakfast. We'll be talking about what is breakfast. It is the breaking the fast overnight. The ideal would have been a steamed vegetable or any boiled vegetable. So these are what I usually take every morning. And this is steamed chickpea and steamed vegetables. This is what I usually take every morning. And this is my typical breakfast. So we have to take boiled egg, milk, steamed fresh cheese, and fresh cheese, then fruits. This is what you can take in the morning. Then in between meals, usually fruits, orange, pomegranate, avocado, papaya, milk, and whatever. These are what you can take in the middle. This my late evening I usually take a meal like this, all made of fruits and some milk. So main meals are usually taken with rice, bread, roti, etc. Then dal, vegetables, then meat, chicken, beef, mutton, whatever, then fish, then milk products like cheese, paneer, salads, etc. So plan your diet and lifestyle. So you have to plan your diet and lifestyle. Please change so that you can get results. You have to change now. You change today so that you can get a good result. Then start your life anew. Let us start your life anew from today. And let us live young once more. Let us stay young once more. So this is the end of my talk today. Next week I will be coming back with another episode specially for exercises, regimes, and I will be talking all what I have been doing all these last 25-27 years. Today we have finished, and this is the foundation about good health. We have talked about sleep, we have talked about food and nutrition, and so Let us again meet next week. See you next week. Thank you very much for listening to my talks. Bye bye.